Emulate the taste of like non-chicken nuggets. So these nuggets are made from chicken, but they're made to emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
Oh, that's much better.
Edit all the blather out of your videos because my time is very precious.
Oh, that's fire.
Make it less teal and more
Cerulean? Sure.
Replace your background with something more fun? The cold void of outer space.
Let's boost that sound quality. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
It needs more style. It needs more clips, more gifs, more. Well, I might have made it too gnarly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Descript 101, Video Editing Basics. I am Christiana, Community Manager here at Descript, and up on stage with me is the amazing Marcello, Support Manager, awesome community advocate person. I could go on and on and on. Marcello, how are you?
I'm great. I am just remembering the end of our last session where you said I was the king of goats, and I almost bought a t-shirt with a goat on it for this exact moment, but next time. But I'm happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
A goat related outfit should be a part of your live event uniform at this
Absolutely.
point. But yeah, me and Marcello do these events a couple times a month. We do 101s, 201s, and random other events. But our Descript 101s are our tried and true curriculum, you could say. We both are really passionate about welcoming new users into the community, making sure people feel ready to go in Descript. And that's what this hour will be all about. And we also have, speaking of goats, the amazing Trevor in the YouTube chat right now. Trevor always hangs out over there. He's a support whiz. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat and he'll get those answered for you. But without further ado, I think we can jump right in. Let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. I am in Brooklyn, New York. Marcello, where are you tuning in from today?
I'm over in Oakland, California, the East Bay. What is up?
East Bay in the house. Love it. Cool. All right. We got an international crew, it looks like. So keep telling us. Someone said, I'm in Minden, Ontario. Go to the middle of nowhere and turn right.
I miss the Midwest.
I love how we all can just there's this loving way that we talk about where we live.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Cool. Love it. Okay. So folks, we're going to start off with some slides here. We always love to show this first. If you can imagine it, you can make it with Descript. Folks that join Descript and decide to start jumping in to our wonderful text-based editor, make some of this stuff, YouTube videos, social clips. Maybe you're a podcaster or a video podcaster. Maybe you're a marketer or a support person or a salesperson trying to make videos, or you're an educator. Or maybe you're trying to launch something, trying to make that product demo. Let us know which of these options up here best describes your use case. Tell us in the chat. Or if it's not up here, tell us what you're hoping to make. Tell us about the stuff you're making with Descript, or you hope to, because we love knowing that before we jump into our demo, just in case we can speak to some of those specific things. Wow. Also, I'm getting truly international crew in the chat today. I'm seeing Oslo, UK, Amsterdam, Oregon in the house, Philly in the house. Go Eagles.
Let's go.
Amazing. Birds. I love this. Cool. Keep it coming, folks.
I'll show translation for sure then later on so we can make sure we get everyone on their reach. But yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Love to hear that. Okay. Cool. Okay. Event FYIs, just so you all have an amazing experience with us today. So use that YouTube chat for your comments and your questions. As I said, our friend Trevor from the support team is in the chat today. He'll be answering those questions, and we will also save some for Q&A at the end. This session is recorded. All of our events are recorded. I'll send it out in a follow-up email, but you also will always be able to find our events under the live tab on our YouTube channel. So you can always go check out more. For example, if you say, I loved Descript 101, I'm going to go watch the recording of Descript 201 from a couple weeks ago. Highly recommend. That would be a great thing to do after this event. And then if you need more help, great news. We have an amazing support team that is ready to help you and an amazing help center. Help.descript.com has all kinds of articles, guides, and also that's where you can get in touch with Marcello's team, chat with a support team member, and get some help. I always like to put this up in the beginning. We would love your feedback on today's event. We take audience feedback super seriously here. We always want to improve. So please give us your feedback at the end of this event. Let us know how we did. I'll pull this up again at the end. Trevor, maybe you could throw the link into the chat as well. But yeah, we'd really appreciate your thoughts. Okay, here is our agenda for today. We're going to start off by reviewing key features. We have a few more slides where we'll talk about the big features you need to get started with Descript. Then Marcello is going to take us on an interface tour, show us around a Descript project so you know where to find everything, what drawer opens what, all that good stuff. And then the bulk of today's event will actually be a video editing demo. So Marcello is going to show us a finished video, and then we will work backwards, building that up with all key features hit for a sort of baseline, how do I edit videos in Descript? And then we will do live Q&A at the end, probably for the last 5 to 10 minutes. Cool. All right. Here are your learning objectives today. This is what me and Marcello want you to leave feeling in about an hour. Feel confident navigating the Descript interface. 2, you'll be able to edit videos using text-based editing. And then 3, you'll have a good understanding of key Descript features like Underlord, scenes, and layouts. And if you're like, I don't know what those are, don't worry. We're about to cover them. Amazing. Anything you want to add here, Marcello, before I jump into our key features?
No, I would just say it's crazy seeing Underlord on here and looking at the past webinars we've done and seeing in the past couple of months how much has improved. So if you visited us for our last 101, we were just looking at Underlord for like the first time and seeing what we're going to show today. I'm just excited for that. So yeah.
Totally. Yes. I recognize some names in the chats of like folks who have kept coming to Descript 101s. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense because we change our product sometimes and it's good to stay up to date. So yes, whether you're new or you've been a Descript user for a while, you're in the right place. Okay, so let's jump in. I think I have 4 slides here that will review some key features and then we'll jump into that interface tour. Okay, so the first one, we just want to get a basic understanding of the core of Descript, which is text-based editing. Especially if you're a new media editor, this is a game changer because basically the promise of Descript is if you can edit text like in a Google document or a Microsoft Word document, you can make videos, podcasts, clips with Descript. As simple as hitting copy and paste, hitting that backspace key to delete something from your video you don't want. It's really as easy as using a word processor. So that's really what sets Descript apart. And we are going to show you how to actually do it today. So that's our first key feature here. Next, we always like to remind folks, we also have a fully fleshed out remote collaborative recording studio inside of Descript called Descript Rooms. It's very reliable, it's simple to use, and it means that you can, from recording to publishing your actual content, you can do it all in Descript. So we'll cover that today in sort of a light mode, Rooms Light, because we could do a whole hour on Rooms, as I'm sure you agree with me on that, Marcello. But we'll just show y'all how you can record right in Descript in a few different ways. Anything to add on Rooms before I keep it on?
No, Rooms has, same as last time, gotten quite a bit
Yeah.
of feature improvements since last we showed it. But yeah, great feature. Check it out. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Cool. Let's keep it going. Up next, we always just like to talk about the process of transcribing, which is how text-based editing is even possible. Descript, we work with a variety of different providers and also have our own homebrew things going on to provide you with industry-leading accuracy and speed, and making it really easy to correct your transcript for things like accessibility, or if you want to post the blog version of your script or something like that, and then of course having accurate captions. Yeah, we'll show you how to edit your transcription as we get going here. Next, Underlord. We mentioned this a little bit before. So Underlord is your AI editing assistant that lives right inside Descript. It is the only AI video editor with judgment, taste, and experience, the expertise to be a true video pro. It can help you make anything you want. It's gotten a lot better over the last few weeks, and we'll show you how to use it today. Still in beta, though, I have to say. Just FYI. Sometimes it makes mistakes. It's sort of like an intern in that way, you know? You want to give it as much direction as possible, but we will show you how to get the most out of it. And while it's in beta, it is free to use, which is awesome.
Yeah, we'll go into some templates and some more specifications, but yeah, great ways to utilize it.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. And then last but not least, scenes and layouts. These are like Jack and Jill in terms of making a good video. They're peas in a pod. Scenes are basically like the way that you're going to change your visuals, how you want to tell the visual story of your video. And you can think of scenes like slides, and you cut up your video into these slides in order to tell different visual stories or chapters. And then layouts are a collection of elements that some people might think of them as like templates. You can just slap onto your scene and give them a really nice visual style. We have a ton of pre-designed, professionally designed layouts in the Descript app for you to choose from. So highly recommend trying those out. Alrighty. Those are our key features we wanted to give you a primer on. But now I think we're ready to see some of them in action. So Marcello, I will turn it over to you for a Descript interface tour.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen.
Awesome.
Let me know if you can see this.
Yep, looks good.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So what we're looking at here is a Descript project. We will look at maybe the baked cake first. So play back some of this video to see what we'll work towards, and then look through some of the interface tour.
Love it.
Perfect. All right. So drum roll. We'll see this view section in a moment, but here we can full screen and take a peek at the content that I've made for us today.
Can't hear that.
One moment.
Do 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 do.
All right.
Doing a diversion. It happens. No worries. I just wanted everyone to hear your amazing.
Yeah, my content.
Your
Okay.
pitch. Yeah.
Check two.
At all. Today, I'm super excited to dive
Back,
into
okay.
a tool that's going to change the way that you edit and record media. Today, we're talking about Descript. Whether you're a seasoned editor or just starting out with recording, Descript is as easy as whatever is easiest for you. Now, you might be wondering, why would we choose Descript, Marcello? Descript isn't just another recording tool. It's an editing platform that's transforming the way that people handle audio and video editing. Its design and powerful features make it a perfect choice for video editors, new or old.
Cool. So that's an example of what we were looking at. A little bit later on in the video, there's some transitions and scenes and some additional visuals. But let's first take a peek at the interface to see how we can start to find some of these features inside of Descript.
Love it.
Cool. So starting off, we're going to be looking here at our transcript on the left-hand side. Like Christiana mentioned, whenever you import media into Descript or whenever you record into Descript directly, you'll have a transcription automatically made for you. We can transcribe in plenty of languages, but once your video is transcribed, video or audio is transcribed, you'll see the text on the left-hand side here. So exactly like we mentioned earlier, editing like a Word doc, we can see this full text range. I can make text selections like I would in Google Docs. Here I see above a mini menu with familiar things like bold, italics, highlighting something. So if you have ever edited a Word doc, Google Pages, whatever, you'll have some familiarity here as well.
Totally.
Yeah. We'll also see some things inside of our script. These little visual thumbnails. These are depictions of scenes. So Christiana mentioned scenes and layouts earlier, which we'll go into a little bit later. But just so you can understand what's on screen visually, these little inline thumbnails are visual indicators of a change of a scene, and also where we could select a different layout or a transition going in or out of a scene.
Love it.
Yeah. Just to call out a couple other things that we see on screen as well, we have up here a marker. I use these as chapters as I go out through my videos. So you'll see some of these bold titles like introduction or getting started. These are markers in my script that I can jump to throughout my video and use as kind of breakup points. Think if you're watching a YouTube video and you see those little chapter indicators across the timeline, this has the same kind of idea. Those are separate from scenes, which are changes in visuals, just to be clear.
Yes, good call out.
Yeah. And then also we will see here, right in line as well, my speaker label. Speaker labels are what helps Descript break up portions of text, use dynamic text for saying who is speaking or on screen, and even using our AI speech voices. But here I can select or name my speaker. I can also select other speakers that we have here on a list. You'll see myself for my AI voice, as well as some of our other stock AI speakers in here, like Alex or Mateo, if we wanted to use some of our other language translation options.
Cool.
Tight. And then moving towards the right-hand side, we'll see here on the right our scene editor. I'm going to go to a different freeze frame so it doesn't look like I'm attacking somebody. But here on the right-hand side, we see what's called the scene editor. So we've been talking about scenes. Scenes, again, are like a collection of assets. Those assets are visualized here in the scene editor. We can see everything in the scene, which in this scene includes myself and the Descript company logo. The same thing we saw earlier when we made a text selection in our script area, a mini menu appears there. The same kind of idea happens when we are in the scene editor. If I select anything inside of the scene editor, we'll see a little mini menu appear. In the editing section, we'll go into what specifically you can do from these mini menus. But just to call out a couple really easy ones off the top, we can change the shape of images. So if I wanted to round out the corners of the Descript logo, I can do so. Or something like with my image, if I wanted to position myself and fit myself to the full screen or slap myself to the far right or left to fit in other visuals, we can take quick actions there. There's also like effects and animations, but again, we'll put those in action a little bit later on.
Cool.
Tight. Last couple things on the main area here. We have our right button. The right allows us to utilize that AI speech or text-to-speech that I mentioned earlier. So if we wanted to, I can either record myself speaking into Descript or import a video, or if I wanted to, and I have like a script already existing, I can type out something or copy paste in text into Descript and then have the AI voices, whether mine or our stock ones, speak out whatever is on that script. But yeah, it's really helpful when we have like ad reads or like specific things that we're trying to vocalize for like a product launch or something like that. It's very easy to, instead of me going into the recording studio or in our office and hitting my head against a wall a couple of times, I could just paste the script.
Yep.
And then over here on the right-hand side, we have the ability to adjust the aspect ratio of our video. So if I wanted to make this instead of like what looks like a YouTube video style view or like this more horizontal view, I can switch to a portrait or a vertical view like for Instagram or for TikTok.
So as someone that does a lot of social media work here at Descript, I'm always using that aspect ratio changer.
Absolutely. We'll even look at later on how we can utilize layouts to automatically switch that for us. So we don't have to worry about manually doing any of that. There's a lot of like one-stop shops, like a little bit of pre-work and then one-click actions to complete a video. It's really sick.
It's great.
But yeah, anything I missed on what we're seeing on screen before I jump over to what's on the right-hand sidebar?
No, I love it. Let's jump into the sidebar.
Perfect. Cool. So we'll go top down on the right-hand side, first starting in project. So if I click on project, again, what we're looking at right now is a Descript project. So if I click on project on the right-hand side, I'm seeing all of the contents of my project. So everything that's inside of this project, including compositions and the media that I've imported or recorded directly in. I just mentioned compositions. To explain what compositions are, think of it as like a different ways to organize your media. I have in this video or in this project, I have 2 compositions. One is my video fully edited, and one is my video not edited, which we'll look at later.
Right.
But they're both referencing the same source video, which is just me in our office recording myself, right?
Mhm.
But it's using different portions of that video or referencing that in different elements of my media. So again, compositions are just collections of your media organized in certain ways. And then below our compositions here, we have files, those things that make up the compositions, the scenes, and the layouts that we'll use inside of Descript. So right down here, I have options, or I see all the files that I have. So by default, I have this recordings file. Here's the video of me recording in the office. Probably, a time where I wish I had a script to paste into the script. And then here we have further down our stock media. This is everything that came in from our stock media. And then I have some folders and files as well here. One thing, if you've ever come to any of our office hours or webinars, you will have probably heard me use the phrase digital cleanliness. Please, oh my goodness, please, for the sake of your ability to repurpose content or like revisit older projects later on, make sure you have a clear naming convention or folder structure or something. There's nothing that makes me happier in this universe than working a customer support ticket and getting a project from a customer and seeing them having clearly labeled like recordings folder, stock media folder, and so on. It's really good for collaboration. It's great to make sure that you can, reference things easily. But that's just my one hill to die on, is please keep things clean in here as best you can.
You've been on that hill since as long as I've known you, and you're right. It is It's real.
Ignore my computer desktop, the clean as a whistle. My home behind me, ignore this advice for your house. I say this every time, but my computer's clean, my laundry needs to be done anyway. But cool. That's all for the project section. And just to quickly call out a couple of things as well, to add files into Descript. We have a couple different ways that you can add media into Descript. One that I want to call out that's still in beta, but new and was highly requested, so it's cool that we have it here, is mobile. If I click on mobile here, a QR is going to appear. I'll be able to scan this QR with my mobile device and then log into my Descript account, just authenticating it's me. And from there, I can upload videos from my camera roll on my iPhone. And those will automatically show up in the files folder here on the right-hand side. So we've had plenty of people ask, do you have an iOS app? And while we might have something to say about that later on, for the moment, if you're looking at uploading videos from your mobile device, this is the way to do it. So check it out. Give us feedback on what is and is not working. But I think it's a really cool first step to the mobile element.
Absolutely agreed.
Hell yeah. A couple other ones we have here as well. A newer one to call out is slides. Here you can import a slide deck, and we'll kind of map out your slides as scenes for you to then record into and speak over your slides. Huge feature request. Finally ran through with that. So hell yeah. And then some other ones as well. We have obviously file upload from your computer. We have import from YouTube, so you can drop a YouTube URL into Descript and we'll import the video. And then a Zoom integration as well. So if you have a Zoom account, you can link your Zoom account, and then cloud recordings will show up for you to import from there as well. Tight.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, a lot of different ways to import media. The idea is if you have it somewhere, you can get it in here, dude.
That's right.
Yep. Cool. All right, let's take a step down into AI tools. For those of you that have used Descript for a while, you might have remembered a time that Underlord was up here. We have given a little bit of an update. As we've mentioned, Underlord has gone through some metamorphosis. Hillary Duff, what's up? But we have our AI tools here on the top right is how this is reframed. So AI tools is broken up into a couple major sections, but just to go through them together, we have sound good, which means literally the audio quality or the presentation itself is good, meaning I'm clear and concise. It can sound be heard while being clear and concise. Looking good. This could mean literally or technically, like we have an eye contact feature here, which if you're using a teleprompter, snaps your eyes to the camera. or green screen, like our intro video. We can put ourselves in the cold void of outer space if we so choose.
Yes.
We have some options there. We have repurpose, which is something that Christiana, myself, and Trevor in the chat know very, very well. Repurpose allows you to, create clips or highlight reels. So take, for instance, this long form webinar that we are currently doing.
Yep.
After this webinar, Christiana will throw the recording into a project, and Trevor will pop into Descript and use this create clips feature to make shorter segments of this long form webinar into bite-sized TikToks, shorts, whatever people are consuming on their cell phones nowadays. Yeah. And then my, biased favorite, having some family in Brazil that I always want to share media with, we have Translate. So here, if you click Translate, you can translate into a couple different languages. And again, repurposing your content, giving that further reach out to other groups that you might not normally reach. And then last two down here are some of my favorites. Publish, which is really, really good for getting onto socials. I might be good on camera, but I'm not the best at drafting a blog post, which is like a long form description of my content, right? So using Underlord, using AI actions, I can draft a blog post, draft social post, a YouTube video description, or at the very bottom here, write. If I need help getting started, what I use a lot is brainstorm or rewrite. Sometimes I'll just even speak into the script for a little bit, have it transcribe and say, okay, take what I just said and organize my thoughts and now make it a video. But there's really good writing tools in here as well. So there's quite a few ways you can use AI actions, but those are the 5 major groups. Again, write, publish, repurpose, look good, and sound good.
Love it.
Anything in there that I missed?
Nope, you crushed it.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. Let's now look at the properties panel. I was rewatching a webinar we did 2 months ago, and I literally said the things that used to be here, just think of them as a properties panel. That's what it's called in every other app. And looky here, we've made an update.
You manifested it.
Truly. I feature requested my way to this. But yeah, so in the past, you might have noticed we'd had a layers and a scene tab here on the right-hand side. In the past month or so, we've merged those together into one properties panel. So the properties panel is going to show whatever you are selecting either in your script or in the scene editor. So for instance, right now I've clicked this little thumbnail that denotes the scene. So in my properties panel, I see properties of the scene. If I wanted to see properties of the Descript logo, I click the Descript logo here in my scene editor, and now you see update on the right-hand side. You'll notice also that mini menu that I mentioned before has a couple similar features as property panels. So later on when we're editing, we'll see this in action, but there's a couple different ways you can see the same media. But if you want the full story, everything out in detail, the properties panel is going to show you every individual property of what's on screen and allow you to add new things to that element. So I could add animations, visual effects, a border. So it's displaying what I see as well as what I can add to it.
Cool.
Yeah. And then one last thing to note on here is that whenever you have something selected, you'll see at the very top the ability to affect one or all scenes. This is one thing to really keep an eye out for. You'll also see that here at the bottom of the scene editor. But when you are making a change to something, right, we have scenes that break apart individual sections of your video. If I want this effect that I'm doing to this Descript logo to happen every time it's on screen, I want to make sure I select all scenes and not current scenes. So that way, if I change this to a circle, when it goes to the next scene, it doesn't go back to a square. It stays in that circle form, just as an example. But yeah.
Yes. That was just getting me last night when I was editing something, and I kept wanting all of my scenes to change, but I forgot to hit it. And I would be like, why are my captions different?
That's the exact example I was about to use. Is this happens most common with captions, right? If you're making a change stylistically to your captions, you want that to happen to all scenes, not just the 5 seconds that it's on for this one. But yeah, I've made this mistake 1,000 times. I'm saying this from experience.
Yes, it's really something.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's move down here now to last couple things on the right-hand side. We have elements. So elements are going to be literally any on-screen element. That could be text, subtitles, any of these basic images, like an arrow. Whenever I'm making customer support videos, having an arrow on screen, pointing at where someone should click for something. Or further down, we have waveforms or playback progress bars. Sometimes you'll see on sorry, I'm a YouTube, consumer, but sometimes in ad reads on YouTube videos, you have the little progress bar going across the bottom of the screen. We have those here in Descript. Same with waveforms for our audiogram people. The little waveform animation. We have those in here as well as rings and waves. And then what I think is really cool as well is our dynamic text and placeholder options. I mentioned earlier, like assigning a speaker label. If I wanted to, I could put the speaker dynamic text box on screen, and it will automatically show the name of whatever the speaker label is. So if I have an interview with people going back and forth and changing camera angles, I'll throw on the speaker dynamic text element, and it'll just continuously update to whoever's on screen, saving me editing time. So yeah.
Totally.
And then placeholders as well. Whenever we're making layouts, you'll even notice in some of our default layouts, we have placeholders for camera, for screen, and for media. Meaning, if I use a layout that has a camera placeholder, it's going to put whatever was recorded with my camera in that place, making it that much easier for me to not have to like manually click and drag things around. I'm just dropped in exactly where I should be because Descript knows that I'm me. Yeah.
That's right.
Cool. That's all for elements. Let's now go down to captions. Since captions are so important to us, slash like have been one of our primary features for so long, it gets its own standout. Here you can apply our default captions. So we have quite a few ready to go captions. At the top here, you can also see to apply something to all scenes or this scene specifically. And then with any of these captions, you can always edit them further. So if you don't want to, if you want this kind of like skewed to the side text, but you want the background to not be blue, but instead like green, you can absolutely do that. These are just jumping off points similar to our layouts.
Cool.
Tight. Last thing here before we look at Underlord, we have here stock media. Stock media contains both audio and video. So if you want a sound effect to like bleep yourself, if you're like saying PII customer data or a curse word, or if you're needing like background music for the intro of your video, or like so a music bed for your ad read, we have all that here, as well as visuals. So we have a Giphy plugin, we have some stock video, as well as some background images. But we have all of these options as well for you. They should be royalty free, so you should be able to use these in media. But if you're having any problems with that, hit up our support team. We're here for you.
Perfect.
Tight. All right, now let's visit our friend Underlord that has gone through, again, a metamorphosis of sorts. I'm going to show off something that we just released with Underlord by showing us a blank composition, and then I'll show Underlord in action with some editing. So let's open a new blank composition and open Underlord on the right-hand side. On the very bottom right of Descript is where you're going to see Underlord now. That little robo head, click on that bad boy, and we'll see the chat appear from the right-hand side. So the one thing I wanted to call out right away is our recent release of templates. Not to be confused with what the old name of layouts was, templates. These are Underlord templates.
Yes.
You might be asking,
Underlord prompt templates.
exactly. Yeah. So people might be asking like, what are these for, right? If you open this menu, you'll see quite a few prompt templates by default. We'll have ones for editing a video, or creating media with an avatar, or edit a podcast, or turning slides into a video using that new import option, right?
Yep.
But let's just, for instance, use this create with an avatar option. So I'll click use template. And on the right-hand side, you'll notice the template, all the template is a packaged like prompt that you can continue off of, kind of like going off that same concept I said with captions of like, you can use this as a jumping off point and edit to your heart's content. We fully expose the prompt that we are using for this template. So if you wanted to make any alterations onto this, you're absolutely able to do that by just manually copy pasting, or like typing in like, okay, Underlord, actually, I wanted you to do this step slightly differently.
Yes.
I believe in the future we're looking at the ability for people to like save their own. But for the moment, if like you can copy paste the media that you see in here and edit to your heart's content.
Yes, and just want to flag, these have been vetted and made by our team. We have like a whole cross-functional team that has gone through and really perfected these prompts. So if you're trying to figure out a way to start using Underlord and get your feet wet, these are a really good entry point.
Yeah, I think with any like plain text-based LLM interaction, like seeing the prompts that are made by the people that made the bot in the first place is extremely valuable. Like there's been plenty of times that I'm like, hey, how should like ChatGPT, how should I ask you a question, right? Like what's the right way to prompt you? And in that same vein, that's what we have here of like create an avatar video. Here's the setup, and like clear, like I would not speak to Christiana probably in this way, but this is how Underlord is going to take the most like specific and clear action.
Totally.
Would I tell my assistant to do this exact same thing? Maybe not. I might give them, some like wiggle room, but with Underlord being that bot and taking our direct action, we want to be as clear and as specific as possible, which is what these prompts or prompt templates allow for.
Cool.
Tight. I just wanted to call that out. We could go back and forth here with this, but I would like everyone to play with that and give us our feedback. As Christiana mentioned, it's in beta, so please, give it a try there. But yeah,
Yes, please try it and let us know what you think, and many more coming soon.
tight. Now why are all of the freeze frames so wild? Okay, cool. Now we're going into using Underlord outside of that template. So let me just
Love it.
take a different freeze frame of me on screen. There we go. That's better.
Sweet. So are we going to
Um,
jump into the demo now?
Yeah, we will do
Awesome.
that right after, I believe, you give us a reminder of where we've been.
Okay, perfect. I'll just quickly jump over here. So Marcello just gave us an interface tour. Now you should know all the different drawers in a Descript project. Thank you for that, Marcello. And one thing I just wanted to call out, you can always, if you're like, oh, where did that thing go? Or maybe something has changed, this link will give you a tour anytime you need it. We update it whenever we make changes, so definitely check that out. Okay, but first learning objective is done. Have more confidence navigating the Descript interface. So now we're going to jump into our demo. Okay, Marcello, are you ready to lead us through? We've got about 25 minutes.
Yes. My bad. I was going a little fast because I'm like, all right, cool. I got to make sure we get
No,
all
you're
the
so
time in the
good.
world for this.
We got plenty of stuff to hit. Let's jump into the demo.
Luckily, with Underlord, this will be fast and easy. Okay, cool.
Go off,
So now-
marketer.
Hey, okay, someone clip that. We got to repurpose that for later
Yes,
content.
exactly.
Anyway, all right, cool. So now let's look in action. So we had Underlord open. Let's see what Underlord can do really quickly, just from like a high level, right? So here I have my video.
Welcome back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All.
Can we hear this still?
Today, I'm super excited to dive into a tool that's going to change the way that you edit and record media.
So here's that video that I had from earlier, but minus all the bells and whistles of me moving on screen or having sound effects, a music bed, the Descript logo pop up on screen. Let's work on adding those in. And first things first, let's see what Underlord has to say about any of this. So what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to ask Underlord, hey, can you add music that fits the vibe of this video to the first scene? This is my favorite prompt to give to Underlord because, like Christiana mentioned earlier, it has to some extent an opinion. What is
Taste.
Yeah, what's really interesting is seeing what it does, because all of this is based on text, right? All an LLM is just reading text and providing a response. So what it's doing here is it is reading or watching the first portion of my video to see what the general vibe is. It's then going to look through our stock media library for any music that fits the vibe that it associates with whatever I've said, and then it'll paste that into the first scene as I've specified. We can even see here it actively importing audio to do that. But if I wanted to see what Underlord's plan of action was, there's a like an uncollapsible menu. Or like an uncollapsible like list that you can see the plan, right? So Underlord, because this is like a media editing tool as well, like we might have different perspectives on what's good for the vibe of this video, right? So Underlord will first do a like, are we talking about the same thing pass, then show you its plan of action, take the action and ask for your feedback on it. So here it's saying, yep, let's add music that matches the vibe. Here, the plan is analyze the first scene to understand the vibe of the content. Search the media library for suitable music track. If nothing fits, look in the stock media library, then insert the music. And then it says, I'll now analyze your scene, right? So it's giving us the full detail of what happened. And then now that the action is done, at the very bottom here, it says background music's been added. It's upbeat to fit the vibe. And then down here, we can see the specific actions it took. So it looked at all of the scenes. It found 39 media files that fit, and it added one of those 39 based off its decision. And let's hear what it did. Again, this is just for the first scene, so it's like literally a second, but
Welcome back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All.
cool. So there's 2 seconds of audio.
Funky.
But if I asked for, this is where I would maybe want to specify. I didn't really realize that my first scene was literally half of 1 second. So I maybe should have asked Underlord to add it to the first 3 scenes and fade out. Again, this is where we want to take a lot more specific instructions to Underlord, because
Right.
all I said, I did literally what I said. Find a song that fits the vibe, add it to the first scene. If I had a freelance editor, they might say, hey, dude, that might not fit, and give me some feedback. But here,
Yep.
I am now like reviewing this. I'm saying, hey, that might not fit. So now I can follow up with Underlord and say, hey, add it to more scenes or take that action manually. But yeah.
Totally. Yes. It's very literal. It will do
Yeah,
exactly what you said. So,
very much so.
which is an interesting quirk of working with AI versus if you and I were
Mhm.
sort of like, let's add music to the beginning. We would kind of be able to guess, like, okay, you mean more than the first 1 second, but Underlord doesn't understand that. So,
Yeah.
um,
It and like in if you were to want it to, you would need to specify that you are in brainstorming mode. If you
yes,
see here, I just cleared out the chat for Underlord and it gives me a few like prompts to start, but I could ask Underlord for suggestions. As long as you put Underlord in the headspace of what it should be doing. Like if I say go edit, it's an editor. It is not a brainstormer, it is an action machine. But if
yep,
I say, "Hey, you're a brainstormer," it's like, "Cool, let's have a back and forth. What's good?" Right? So like just
totally.
making sure that you have to set the expectation to the bot of what it is doing. But yeah,
Love it.
cool. Anything else for Underlord before I go into what it looks like manually editing?
No, I say let's get into it.
Let's dive in. Cool.
Yeah.
Tight. All right, cool. So let's quickly look at text-based editing before we look at adding some visuals and wrapping that up with scenes and layouts. So here I have the intro of my video. I'm going to just remove that music that Underlord added just so we can do that ourselves here. But here, if I play this back, here I have
Welcome
me.
back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All. Today, I'm super excited to dive into a tool that's going to change the way that you edit and record media.
So I think that's pretty verbose of an intro. I think that we could probably trim that out and be a little bit more punchy. What if I just said instead, welcome back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All. Today, we're talking about Descript. I can pretty easily edit my video by making a text selection and deleting that text, which deletes the underlying video and audio. So I'm making a text selection on screen. I'm clicking delete on my keyboard. And now I've removed that video and audio. Let's play back to see.
Welcome back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All. Today, we're talking about Descript.
Boom. Easy
Easy.
as that. So again, to reiterate, this is like the main reason that I love Descript is text-based editing. Whenever you import or record into Descript, we are transcribing your media. We're associating each word you say to a time in your video content so
Yep.
that when you delete that video or when you delete that audio, when you delete the text, it's deleting the audio and video connected to it. So you don't have to know how to like review this scary timeline below. You can
Yes.
just interact with the text and have your video edited afterwards. It sounds basic, potentially to some that have been with Descript, but it is game changing for those of you that are like new to media editing.
It totally is. And if you're like, but I want to get into the timeline, that's awesome. And you can totally do it. What rocks is that you have the option. And for a really straightforward video, maybe you don't need to do that. But if you want to learn about the timeline, go watch Descript 201, which is on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Type. Cool. So that is just like a quick, flagship. Here's how to do something. But let's look a little bit now at that mini menu that I was mentioning earlier. So when we make a selection of text, either one word or a group of words, we'll see options in this mini menu appear above. Option 1, ask Underlord. This is going to bring you right back to our old friend that we were just talking to a second ago. Option 2, just moving from left to right, we have change layout. Here, we are able to change the layout of the selection of text that we're making. So if I click that, I'll see all of the options for our layouts inside of this layout pack. And if I wanted to see a different layout pack, I can click change layout pack here at the bottom. It's showing me everything inside of a layout pack that I've already selected. If you've watched our webinars before, you'll know I am passionately in love with the Helsinki Blueberry layout pack. So here it is. Here's everything that's inside of that. It kind of fits the like minimalist, but quick movement on screen vibe that I like. But if you want a different layout pack, you can click change layout pack and see all of these default layouts in the gallery. We'll go into like utilizing these later, but again, you can easily change the layout by making that selection here in the text range.
Yes.
Tight. Moving on, we have add layer. Let's say you don't want to change the whole layout. You just want to add one little thing like a sound effect or any additional visual media like a Giphy or something. If I click add layer here, it's going to give me the option to add anything from my files I can record directly in, or it'll give me the options from the elements options on the right-hand side. So I'll see things like text, placeholder, shapes, and then down here, my stock media library or text to image generation if I want to make something custom with AI.
Love it.
Yup. Cool. And then from, again, left to right, we have now correct. Correct is the thing that I need the most whenever I'm transcribing my name. So correct, for those of you that have not used it before, is just correcting the text, not the video or audio that is connected to it. So we are just doing text corrections here. I mentioned earlier, whenever you edit, the text, it edits the media like underneath. This is disconnecting that. So we're just adjusting the text to make sure that the captions that are on screen are correct. So like when I first transcribed this, my name was spelled Marcello with 1 L. That is incorrect. I want to switch that to Marcello with 2 L's. So I click correct. I add the second L here. I click correct on the right-hand side, and that is now updated in the text. And the captions on screen would then follow whatever is transcribed, meaning my captions would show correctly.
Love it.
Yup. And then last couple things as well here, we have regenerate. This is more of our text-to-speech options. So let's say, I think, Christiana, an example you gave on LinkedIn a while ago is like still one of my favorites, where it's like when you wake up, you have like the morning fry voice.
Yep.
And using regenerate uses either your voice or like if you wanted to use an AI voice, but like you can regenerate your voice and, essentially just hit shuffle on how you pronounced a word.
Totally.
And using your trained AI voice to do so. So there's times where like,
Yeah.
if I'm reading off a script and I'm kind of reading fast, we're using our teleprompter feature. Sometimes I will accidentally kind of skim by the, like the punctuation and I'm speed reading. So sometimes I'll end a question on an upward vibe. If I wanted to, I could use regenerate to, like shuffle through my pronunciation of that and give a more clear, like end of a sentence pronunciation rather than one that inflects up.
Totally. Yes. That's such a good use case. And also, like, if your dog barks in the background or an ambulance drives by outside when you're like doing a whatever take, regenerate can clean that up for you. It's really handy.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Cool. And then last couple things here on the right-hand side, we have strike through or ignore. This is to ignore some text. This is the same kind of thing as deleting, but you can still visually see on screen what that is. A good use case for this is like if I remove all of my filler words. I don't know if you've heard me, but I use the word like correctly and incorrectly throughout every moment of my life. So if I deleted the word like, I won't see it on screen. But if I ignore it, I'll see it struck through here and I can easily bring it back. Let's say if I just did a wide swipe and said, remove every word or every time I say like, I'll be able to go back through and bring the times I say it correctly back with one click.
Love it.
Tight. Moving on to this menu, we have the bold, italics, and highlights that we looked at earlier. Last things on here, we have duplicate to, meaning if I wanted to, I could make a selection of text and duplicate this to a new composition. You would want to maybe do that in a situation where you're repurposing content, right? If I have this long form webinar imported to Descript, but I only really care about that one thing I said about Underlord, I can make a text selection and I can duplicate to a new composition, or I then edit and have that video specifically about that subject from the long form video.
Yep.
Tight. And then for collaboration, to close things out, let's say Christiana is the one uploading this webinar and I'm the one editing, or Trevor is the one editing. We can use our comment system, the same as any Google Doc or any other collaboration tool, to mention specific members. So like Christiana, do I have you on my drive? I don't know if I do. Anyway, if I were to type anyone's name in here, I could say like, hey, Trevor, this sucks. Please cut it. And then Trevor will get an email notification saying, hey, Marcello tagged you in a project, and be able to be taken right here where they can mark an action as complete. But yeah, anything I missed there?
No, I think that was great. No notes.
Sick. Cool. Now let's scoot over to the scene editor and take a look at what it looks like for visuals. So again, moving from left to right on this mini menu, I can select my position. So I can fill to the left or right, bottom or top. So if I have something that doesn't fill the screen, I can snap it or fill to that section. I can change shapes. I can replace media. This is one that is important for layouts. So if you're using placeholders or if you're using like stand-in images, you can always click replace here. And then from here, we have options to upload media or generate images directly in. So I can add from a computer, add from something in my project files, record directly in, even use add a placeholder in this area if I use the wrong content and need to swap it back out.
Yep.
Right. We also have some more visual adjustment things here, like cropping, rotating, and flipping. Everyone knows what those are, so I will scoot on to effects here. I think we've all edited enough photos on our phone to know all those features. But we have here effects. So here's where I can add visual effects to things. Here's where I can do color adjustment. So if I, wanted to increase or decrease the exposure of my
Whoa.
stuff, yeah, that's blown out. Never mind. Um, but here I can do that if I wanted to. I can also add blur or film grain or pixelate. We do this in our support onboarding videos. If we want to obscure customer details when we're looking at training videos, we'll pixelate, a user's email address or something like that to make sure that we're, keeping PII safe. We also have eye contact down here, like I mentioned, and then blur background. So same kind of vibe that you would see on like a Zoom. And then finally here we have animations. Here's where we can use either our smart transition animations or custom animations like zoom and pan, the Ken Burns style thing. Or I could make myself rotate in full if I wanted to. But again, that's all under animations.
That's awesome. And one thing I just want to call out, like obviously right now we're seeing Marcello's A roll or the recording of him actually talking to camera, but this works for any element on your scene editor. So like an image or yes, exactly. So we could change as Marcello showed, we can make that a circle. We could change the way it looks.
Or even down here with our captions, like here I could change like the font of my captions, the size, the color of the captions, the border around it. Again,
Yes.
what the mini menu is showing is same kind of idea what the properties panel would show. It's just showing you specifically actions you can take on that type of media. Since this image doesn't have a font, I'm not seeing that option here, right? But if I click on captions, now I'm seeing more text-based elements.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. So we looked at everything for these menus that appear on the left and right in the script and in the scene editor. Let's look at actually applying some layouts to this so we can see what that looks like with some updates.
Cool.
Tight. So let's go back into our script area and select the thumbnails for my scenes. I've already split this video up into scenes, so it'll be easy for us to apply some layouts. But let's go ahead and apply one to start. So here I have my introduction, like chapter. Let's select from our layouts an intro. Look how easy it was to find something that matches what I'm looking for. If I click this 4 more here, this is going to give me some intro options. I really, really like this like automatic text with my head on the right kind of layout. So I'm going to select this to start with. And like one click, you can quickly see how not only it is using dynamic text to fill in a title based off my media, but also you reading the remainder of my script to give some context. So like I didn't type anything that you're seeing in the scene editor right now. It is using from the element section, the dynamic text of like composition name, marker, or anything like that to show on screen media that I'm talking about. This gives me so much like faster or like less steps to complete to get to the end of my video.
Smart fill, baby. Smart fill
dude.
those text layers.
And now I want this text to like match the purple background that I have. So from this mini menu that I selected earlier, again, we're using a layout, but I'm able to, adjust this to my specifications. This layout had blue text initially. I want to change that. So I'm going to click the blue color selector here. I'm going to pick this little dropper tool so I can get like the right purple. Let's say it's probably a little bit darker actually. Let's go to this darker section or maybe even lighter. That's better. Okay, cool. Yeah. So here I've changed the text and I'm going to use the same idea here for this bottom color. And here I have the last colors I've selected. So makes it super like you can see very quickly how I can get from selecting a layout to adjusting the layout to my specifications, right?
Totally.
And if I wanted to, I can save this for later. Let's look at one more layout and then adjusting that a little bit so then we can save it and then wrap that up.
Perfect.
Tight. So let's now select a layout for the second scene. If I go to the thumbnail and select layout here, I'll do, actually here, let's do this. Cool. Edit layout. And then here, we're going to be talking about Descript for a second. So I'm going to go back to just like a normal camera view. And then here, I'll also add media and replace this media with my Descript logo. Boom. So now in action, let's see what these layouts look like with just a couple clicks.
Welcome back to another episode of Marcello Explains It All. Today, we're talking about Descript.
So you saw pretty quickly with a couple of clicks, I'm able to get an intro and title card, have that automatically animate with our smart transitions to go off screen, then have another layout recentering me, and then a third layout moving me to the left-hand side, utilizing our placeholders that I swapped out with the Descript logo and animating that in and out. So like, what, 30 seconds flat for me to make this first 10 seconds of the intro? This is the power of utilizing layouts to your advantage.
It's great. It's also just so much more dynamic to have those different scenes where we're seeing different visuals. It's a lot more engaging than if it was just your original recording, which we love that. Everyone's making videos lately, so we got to stand out somehow.
Yeah. Last thing I'll show before I believe we need to maybe move to Q&A for time. I'll show just really quick how to save this layout for future use, right? So
Awesome.
here I picked the layout, but the layout originally had blue text. I am always going to be using this purple backdrop, so I want this color to stay forever. I want to save this layout so that I can use in future sessions. How would you do that, Marcello? Great question, Marcello. Here is how. So let's right click the thumbnail that we adjusted. So like this is the scene with the layout that I manually made. I'm going to right click this and I'm going to click save scene as new layout. If I click that on the far right here, it is now going to walk me through the steps to save this scene. So here I'm going to say purple intro, add to layout pack. I'm going to create a new layout pack called webinar intro. Here, I can click Smart Fill. So this is exactly what Christiana was mentioning earlier, the Smart Fill subtitles. This is what's going to read my script and add things like, welcome back to Marcel Explains It All. Here, I can choose my scene type. I know this is like an intro, so I'm going to save it under my intro group. This is, again, making it easy for me to label my content so that I can use it later. Or if Christiana wants to use it, I could share this with other Drive members. Really easy. And then I click Add, and boom, I've saved that for future use. So now if I go to Layouts, I can go to my layout packs, my private ones, or my Drive ones, wherever it was, webinar intro, and then here's my options.
Love it.
But yeah, look at that. And
So
that is
great.
how to save layouts once you're done.
Heck yeah. So yeah, remix the layouts that we have pre-designed and then save them, and your entire team can get, it's just a huge workflow hack for designing the video however you want. And just want to flag, some folks had asked, like, what about if you have two speakers, or if like you recorded like a remote recording interview or something? We have layouts for that as well. Maybe we could just show really quick some of those options.
I'll go back to my architecture in Helsinki or Helsinki Blueberry pack. And then here, so yeah, we have for 2 camera, 3 camera, 4 camera, you can have as many as you'd like with our like elements. If you had placeholders for camera, you can have, I think up to, I think it's now 10 people, like 10 like camera on screen. We do
Pretty
this for our
bunch.
support morning meetings. Like every morning I got 10 to 15 people in one room. We're recording everyone and we show it all on screen here. So it just depends on how much you are wanting to add to on screen. But if you're looking at our default layouts, like we have ones, again, I think it's up to 4 for 5-person camera.
Love it. Cool. This was great, Marcello. Thank you so much. We covered so much. I know we only have a few minutes left. And I saw a lot. I figure instead of doing multiple questions, one big pattern I've seen is folks asking about rooms and recording.
Yes.
Could we just hit on that really quick as we
Without a
send
question.
ourselves out here?
Yeah. So great questions. So here with Descript, we have the option to record either like directly in just ourselves. But if we wanted to do a group recording, like a remote recording interview, we can do that with rooms. So if I click record here and I click record with others, this will bring me to a new page where this, if you've used Squadcast or Zoom or like any conferencing tool, this should look extremely similar with our Descript simplicity, kiss on top. But here we have our selection for what camera I'm using. I can also select what microphone I'm using and where the audio is coming out of once I am in the room. Here it's going to ask if I am or am not wearing headphones. This is just like a background and like noise cancellation setting. And then here's where I can select my name. I'll throw in Marcello, and then I can also select my position. So for some plan types, we have multiple roles in rooms, either host or producer. We'll just go in as a host right now, but producer would allow someone like Christiana to be behind the scenes off camera, conducting more of like the production of the podcast or interview, like feeding me questions behind the scenes or punching in for a moment saying like, hey, can you turn up your mic just to make sure that the guest can be heard.
Yep.
Cool. But if I click join, here I am. I'm in rooms. So if I send, here's the invite link. So if I wanted to, I can copy this link, send this off to anybody else, but just send it as an example. Let's record so we can see what it looks like after we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Marcello and I work here at Descript. I like working here at Descript and I'm going to keep working here at Descript. And this is rooms. Hell yeah, buddy. Cool. All right. There it is. Once we're done recording, we'll see a little upload option on the bottom right or left. Sorry. If I had more people in the room, you'd see their names as well. I click got it. I click leave the room. And now that recording is dropped directly into this project already. So I don't have to worry about downloading something to my computer or anything like that. And you see on the bottom right, it's already transcribing our media. If I go here to my projects, here's at the bottom, my new recording, my room's recording, and my file. I drop it in. It's still in the middle of transcribing, but I can already play this back. Hello, my name is Marcello, and I work here at Descript. I like working here at Descript. That's all. But yeah, that's a quick and dirty. That's rooms. We have plenty of help center articles / like old videos about this for more details. But yeah, that is the fastest I can show you rooms.
You did great. That was awesome. And also just want to flag, if you're just recording yourself into your project, you can just do that right into Descript as well. And some folks were really excited about the teleprompter feature. So just want to show that. I don't know if it'll pop up since
I have to show my full window. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Patrick was asking about it and a few other people, so I wanna give them.
Okay, can you see?
411. Yeah, let's try.
Okay, now let's see teleprompter. No, yeah.
Nope, not seeing it.
Okay, one more screen.
One more try. I just used it yesterday though, folks, for my first time using it for a video.
There, okay, cool.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So it opens as a new browser window, so like the screen share option is a thing. But yeah, so if I record into my script, if I click teleprompter here, I can paste or import a script. So if I just wanted to type like, hey, my name, actually, we'll copy this. But yeah, so if I were to record, again, ignore what is actually on the screen for that text because that is nonsensical. But if I click record, this will automatically progress. So I can read off of this teleprompter once I'm, yeah. And then like I can choose like if you're using like an actual teleprompter, like in a studio, we have options for flipping either vertical or horizontal. You can change the theme if you want it light or dark for any contrast. And then you can increase or decrease the speed that it's rolling or the size of the text.
Heck yeah. Love it. Okay. Sweet. We did it.
There we go.
That was awesome. Marcello, thank you so much for that amazing interface tour. Our demo, that was legit awesome, as they say. I just want to pull up our learning objectives so folks can review here. Okay, this is what we wanted y'all to walk away with. Number 1, feel confident navigating the Descript interface. 2, get an idea of how you can edit videos using text-based editing. And then 3, getting a better grasp of those key Descript features, Underlord, scenes, and layouts, namely. I hope that you all found this super helpful. We had a blast hanging out with you. We would love your feedback on today's event. I threw the link in the chat. So please let us know what you liked. Let us know what we can work on in the future. Some folks were like, do you do these regularly? Where can I watch them? Again, all of our recordings are on the live tab on our YouTube channel. You will find, honestly, hundreds of recordings at this point. 101s, 201s, specific features, launch events. And then I'm just going to bring up one more time, help.descript.com is going to be your best friend. All kinds of guides. If you're like, oh, I really like the idea of that one thing Marcello said, search it up and you'll find articles on it, videos. It's a great resource. So definitely check that out. Okay, I think that's it. Everyone, last thing, join our Discord if you want. We have a great user community. You can ask us questions there. Trevor hangs out in there. Marcello and Trevor do office hours every Wednesday. So we would love to keep getting to know you. If you're new to Descript and this was your first time hanging, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for using Descript. And yeah, thank you, Trevor, for holding it down in the chat. Marcello,